What's going on, everybody? You are watching Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show, I want to break down the Vikings 2026 NFL Draft comp pick situation. We got some good and some bad news on that front. Now, we have discussed this earlier on in the season where the Vikings were looking to get possibly 3 comp picks. It's not the case anymore as they are no longer getting draft picks for Daniel Jones after he got hurt for the rest of the season. He didn't hit a certain snap count. So we'll discuss how that all plays out on today's show. And then also later on the show, I think I've zeroed in on my dream/realistic draft target for the Minnesota Vikings at pick number 18. Like, obviously, my dream draft pick would be Caleb Downs, but he's not falling to 18. So I think I have my dream/realistic guy there at pick number 18. But if you guys could, hit that subscribe button and more specifically, hit that notification bell, because anytime we get any breaking news around the Minnesota Vikings, like Brian Flores getting hired, for example, or Brian Flores signing that contract, for example, we had a video for you guys ASAP. So click that notification bell. You'll get a notification on your phone, tablet, whatever you may be using to watch today's show, and you guys will get a notification straight sent your way. So hit that notification bell. You guys get daily videos around your Minnesota Vikings. All right, so a little comp pick explainer here if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. So NFL teams are granted comp picks for players leaving in free agency. And obviously this past season, the Vikings had a lot of players leaving free agency. Like Sam Darnold was obviously the biggest one, Daniel Jones, Cam Robinson. They had a bunch of players leave the building this past season. Now, they can be canceled out by other signings. So, like, if you go out there and you lose 5 guys in free agency, but you bring in 6 new guys, then that will have, pretty much in line to have 0 comp picks. Now, obviously, it depends on a lot of different factors, but also players who are cut by your team do not impact the comp pick formula. So when you're making that final 53-man roster cut down, if you have a player leave, sign with another team, that doesn't help your comp pick formula. And the comp pick formula is literally this. It's a contract on a per-year basis. So obviously Sam Darnold going out there getting $30 million per year, that's big for the Vikings comp pick formula. But also, like we were hinting at with Daniel Jones, with Jones not hitting a certain percentage of snap plays, the Vikings kind of got screwed. So that's second. And then also postseason awards. So, a guy making an all-pro, a guy winning MVP, Pro Bowl, whatever it may be, that all adds up to somehow some formula where the teams get more comp picks for the next year's NFL draft. Now, Over the Cap does a really, really good job of narrowing down the comp pick formula, but it's not always 100%, and these change over the season. Because back in November, when we were initially looking at the Vikings comp pick formula, it was looking like they were going to get 3, and that being Sam Darnold was going to get them a 3rd rounder, Daniel Jones was going to get them a 5th rounder, and Cam Robinson was also going to get them a 5th round pick. But over the cap, they got this right now for the Minnesota Vikings. Only Sam Darnold. Now, you guys see on the left, the Vikings lost 5 free agents. Sam Darnold was going to get them a 3rd, Cam Bynum a 4th, Daniel Jones a 5th, Cam Robinson a 5th, and Patrick Jones a 6th. Now, the Vikings, since they also signed a bunch of guys, they brought in Will Fries, Eric Wilson, Isaiah Rodgers, Ryan Kelly. Since Daniel Jones didn't hit a certain number, and also Cam Robinson not hitting a certain number, it really shakes out to the Vikings only getting 1 3rd-round pick. So the change being, well, Daniel Jones just flat out got hurt. If Daniel Jones didn't get hurt, the Vikings were probably going to be in line for a 3rd and 5th-round comp pick, which would have been fantastic. So that's the bad news there. The Vikings lose out on an extra draft pick because DJ ended up hurting his leg in the tail half of the season. But the good news is the Vikings will be awarded the best comp pick in this year's cycle. The number 1 3rd-round pick that is available, the Vikings will get it because of Sam Darnold. So even though we were all so bitter watching Sam Darnold clinch his ticket to the Super Bowl, the good news of Darnold leaving the Vikes, the Vikings get a pretty good draft pick, and that being a 3rd rounder. So we'll talk about the draft here in a second. But if you guys are excited for the 2026 NFL draft, hit me with those me's down below in the comment section. I'm fired up. This is a massive, massive draft for the Minnesota Vikings. They got to at least get 2 to 3 guys who can contribute right away if they want to go on a playoff run next season. So if you guys are fired up for the draft, give me those me's down below. And coming up next, my dream draft target for the Minnesota Vikings at pick number 18. I got my guy. We'll do a deep dive in on him, and you guys will hopefully be on board with this potential draft pick here in just a second. But let me tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Now, the big game, it's almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season outright with PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly on lineups when you play your first $5. Now, you guys can find your community on PrizePicks with the new social feeds feature. You can share PrizePicks with your friends and copy lineups from winners with a single click. Copy lineups you like or use them as inspiration for your own picks. You can even follow PrizePicks partners like us and tail or fade our picks with just one click. And PrizePicks has another new feature called early payouts. So if your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. So download the PrizePicks app today. Plug in promo code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. But a massive, massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, my dream draft pick for the Minnesota Vikings at pick number 18. Give me the cornerback out of Tennessee, Jermod McCoy. Now, we'll do a deep dive on this guy here to round out today's show, but a little fun fact on him. He was actually recruited at Oregon State to play wide receiver, but then he switched to corner once he got to college. Speaks to his ball skills, as we'll dive into. This guy can take the football away. Now, a former Tennessee DB's coach has found this quote on Jermod. Pretty cool. He said this, saying he's not the loudest guy, but just little things where guys might be complaining or not sure about something, there's always a positive spin to it. He sees that glass half full. I've noticed that from the beginning. It is the consistency every day. He's a very competitive person, both on and off the field. So this guy, he was a former 3-star recruit out of White House, Texas, and he was the number 126 cornerback in the 2023 class. So not a highly touted recruit. This guy has really had to work his way up the ranks, but actually back in 2024, he was first team All-SEC and a Jim Thorpe Award semifinalist back in 2024. Now you may be saying, well, what did he do in 2025? He actually tore his ACL during a workout session in January this time last season. So it's not like this was a freshly torn ACL. If the Vikings end up drafting him, he'll be ready to go right away. But I love that he was first team All-SEC. And if you could get a guy like that at pick number 18 who's got all types of potential to be a true lockdown corner, I'm all in on him. Now, he is incredibly fast. He's a speedy ball hawk corner where the ball, it's 50-50 for him and the receiver. He could go up there and he can make a play on the football. Elite short area quickness. He's a loose and flexible corner. He's very fluid when he's running step for step with wide receivers. He has incredible instincts, and the comp thrown out for him is Eric Stokes. Now, Eric Stokes, he would be a great Brian Flores type of corner. Same with Jermod McCoy. But actually, The Ringer was writing up an article in a recent mock draft, and they mocked Jermod to the Minnesota Vikings, saying this: the Vikings put together a strong pass defense in 2025, but tied for just 27th in the NFL in interceptions with 8. McCoy fills a need at the team's thin cornerback spot, and his ball-hawking talents should help Brian Flores and company boost their production in the takeaways department. McCoy's a perfect fit. If he is there at pick number 18, which there's a chance that he's not, like I could see him like potentially a team like the Dallas Cowboys taking him at pick number 12. I could see Jermod McCoy going there at that spot, but we'll end up, we'll see what happens with McCoy. If he's there at pick 18, I'm all in on the Vikings taking him. But you guys let me know, who's your dream draft target for the Minnesota Vikings? Drop that prospect's name down below in the comments section, and make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And on your way out, just a co-worker of here at Chat Sports just opened the door with his shirt off. Shout out to Jeremy Chugs on that one. But see you guys next time. SKOL Vikes.